So let's talk about beer. When you think about it, the story of what's in your glass is really a tale of two extremes. On one side, you've got these centuries old traditions, right? And on the other, you have this wild, all out revolution in flavor that's happening right now. It's tradition versus revolution.
And really, it all boils down to one big question, doesn't it? What makes the best beer? Is it a recipe that's been perfected for like 1,000 years? Or is it something brand new, something that just completely smashes all the rules? Today, we're going to dig into both of those ideas and see what it means for the beer you're drinking.
Okay, first up, let's rewind the clock. Way back, we're talking about the absolute bedrock of brewing history here. Think Bavarian monasteries. These weren't just any brewers. These were the original masters, the keepers of the flame. They didn't just stumble upon making beer. Oh no, they perfected it. They turned it into an art and a science over hundreds and hundreds of years. Just look at this timeline for a second. The scale is, well, it's massive. We start in 1040. That's when the Weihenstephaner brewery got its start. Then, centuries later, you get the famous Bavarian purity law in 1516, which basically said beer can only have water, barley, and hops. Simple, right? Then you jump to 1634, and you've got the Paulaner monks in Munich perfecting their amazing strong beers. This isn't just some dusty old history, you know? This is a living, breathing legacy. Let's just focus on that one number, 10. 40. That's the year. Think about what was happening in the world in 1040. That's when the Weihenstephan brewery officially opened its doors. It is, without a doubt, the oldest brewery in the world that's still going. That's just mind-blowing. But here's the thing. Tradition doesn't mean you're stuck in the past. Not at all. As Way and Stephaner themselves point out, behind those ancient walls, they've got all the latest modern tech. And that's the secret, isn't it? The reason they've survived is because they're committed to quality, and that means evolving. They're blending 1,000 years of know-how with the absolute best tools they can get their hands on today. So, what does all that tradition actually taste like? Well, let's take a look at something like the Benedictiner Fest beer. For more than 400 years, monks have been brewing this style. They use this unique cellar yeast that you can't find anywhere else. And what you get is this beautifully clean, crisp lager. It's got a really nice, bready, malty character to it, super balanced, and it comes in at a very respectable 5.8% alcohol. Now keep that number in your head, because it's going to be important later.
All right, now we're going to do a complete 180. Get ready for some whiplash. We're leaving that slow, patient, centuries-long evolution behind and jumping straight into an explosion. We're heading across the pond to the New World, where a totally different idea about beer grabbed hold. We're talking aggressive, we're talking innovative, and a more is more approach to flavor. This is the revolution. And this quote right here, it just says it all. This is from Dogfish Head Brewery, and it perfectly captures the whole spirit of this new wave. We are so not talking about subtle balance anymore. No, this is all about pushing every single ingredient to its absolute breaking point. They call their 120-minute IPA the holy grail for hopheads. And trust me, they are not exaggerating one bit. Okay, remember that 5.8% number I told you to hang on to? Here's where it gets crazy. On one side, you have that traditional easy-drinking fest beer. On the other, you have the Dogfish Head 120. And its alcohol content? A jaw-dropping 15 to 20%. That is 3, maybe even 4 times stronger. This isn't just a different kind of beer. It's a completely different animal. So you're probably wondering, how in the world do they get it that intense? Well, it is an all-out hop assault. First off, it hits 120 IBUs. That's the bitterness scale. And for perspective, your average lager is maybe a 20. Then they continuously hop it. That means they're adding hops for the entire 120-minute boil. And if that wasn't enough, they dry hop it afterwards. That's adding even more hops for aroma, with, and this is their word, a boatload of hops. The end result is this intense, unfiltered, super bitter ale that basically blew the doors off what people thought beer could even be. Okay, so it sounds like two completely separate worlds, right? Ancient monks on one side, wild American brewers on the other. But is it really that simple? Is it just black and white? Well, not really. What's super interesting is that we're starting to see this middle ground pop up, where brewers are finding really cool ways to innovate while still respecting tradition. And a perfect example of this is a brewery called Angelo Peretti from Italy. Now, on the surface, this is a classic. It was founded way back in 1877, a historic European lager brewery through and through. But if you look a little closer, you see something interesting. They're using 4 different kinds of hops, and one of them is an American hop called Columbus. They actually took it, transplanted it, and are now growing it in Italy. That's a really cool, quiet little nod to the new world from the old. And you can absolutely taste the difference. Like this reviewer from Flour, Eggs, and Yeast said, the flavor is much closer to what you'd expect from an American craft beer than a traditional Italian beer. And that right there is just perfect proof that tradition doesn't have to hold you back. It can be the thing that launches you forward. So, what does this all mean for us? Well, it means the world of beer today is just unbelievably exciting. This push and pull between the past and the future, between tradition and revolution, that's what makes it so amazing. It means that no matter what you're in the mood for, there's a beer out there for you. You know, when you strip it all away, it comes down to a really simple truth. And Cam from the channel buzzwithyourcuz just nails it with this quote. He says, if you're going to run a successful monastery, you have to brew good beer. And it's so true. Whether you were a monk 400 years ago or a craft brewer in a garage today, it all comes down to one thing. You've got to make good beer. The definition of good might change, but the core idea, that never does. And let's be honest, trying to navigate this whole world of beer, from ancient styles to super modern IPAs, can be kind of overwhelming. That's why people who really know their stuff, these guides and passionate reviewers, are just so important. They help all of us make sense of what we're drinking and appreciate the story behind it. So, I want to leave you with one last thing to think about. As brewers keep pushing the envelope, creating these wild flavors that brewers from the past couldn't even dream of, you have to wonder, is the next big thing, the next great leap forward for beer, not something new at all? Could it be hidden somewhere back in its 1,000-year-old history? Definitely something to chew on the next time you grab a beer.